I'm back at it again, man. We have so much to discuss today. NFL Combine has started. Things are rolling there. Joe Douglas has spoken with the media. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the roster, offensive line, all kinds of things. Listen, 515-602-9639. Call in. I'm about to connect the audio. Folks, give me a second. We'll be right back. Connect the audio. Hold on.
Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it. Okay? I'm back at it again, man. Listen, we have so much to discuss today, all right? Oh, my goodness. Joe Douglas meeting with the press, having a press conference at the NFL Combine. Spoke with the media today. We're also going to be talking about the New York Jets roster. A lot of talk about the Jets quarterback position as well. All right, a lot of things said during that meeting with the media. Some tidbits there. We're also going to be discussing the New York Jets roster and offensive line. And, maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Combine players people are looking at. But listen, salute to all the savages out there. Let me get started with the show. I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. For those of you that do not know, your boy's also on iTunes as well, okay? Go on over to iTunes, all right? Type in The Long Beach Joe Show. Subscribe to the podcast over there. And leave me a rating. Leave me a 5-star rating. Give me some feedback about what you think about the show and what I'm doing here. Always appreciate people that do that. I'm also on other social media platforms as well, going over to Twitter. Okay, type in on your Twitter at The Long Beach Joe, at The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Okay, follow me, follow you right back, and we can go back and forth. I want to thank everybody that does that as well. Get a lot of DMs. I go back and forth with quite a bit of people, in the comments, and we talk about the team. We talk about all kinds of things. So please continue to give that a follow. My personal, Twitter, as well as YoungJ000. A lot of people hit me up there as well. So I have a lot of fun going back and forth with people and talking about this football team. So many great things going on with the New York Jets. Also, as well, for those of you that do not know, okay, we live stream the radio show on YouTube. There's a lot of people that don't know that I run into, and they be like, whoa, Joe, I just happened to, run across the YouTube, and I was like, whoa, this guy, gives great takes, but he's handsome. Didn't know that. Thank you, Joe. Salutes all ladies out there. Say, hey, Joe, you're looking good. Just want to let you know that. Like your takes, like the show, but you look amazing. Listen, I'm not a cocky guy, okay? I'm not an arrogant guy. I'm just working with what I got. I want to thank y'all. Salutes to everybody out there, all the good-looking people out there. So, we have a lot of fun doing that as well. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. Go back and forth with them quite a bit. You want to know why I call my chat the savages? Because they are savage. Savage. Man, they don't care. They don't care what it is. If they don't like your take, if they don't like what you bring into the table, if they don't like what you got to say, they are going to get at you. That's a fact. That's a fact. They're going to get at you. Nobody is safe. Not even me. Not even me. If they don't like your take, they're going to let you know what time it is. So, salutes to all the savages as well. Man, so we have a lot of fun. Come on over. Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. All right. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Okay. I have a lot of fun over here. We do a lot of great stuff. I also post content as well on the channel. Salutes to everybody that checks that out too. So when you do, please give the videos a thumbs up. share them along with your friends and the family, and subscribe, and again, hit that notification bell. So with that put to the side, it is time to talk about the Jets, okay? Lines are hot. We'll get to everybody in just a second. Listen, Joe Douglas spoke today to the media at the NFL Combine. As we know, the Combine has started. Players are starting to ramp up. They're starting to, show up and get in, do their medical stuff. I believe the defensive linemen and some other players are just kind of popping up today and, showing up and doing their thing. Defensive linemen, I believe the linebackers as well, too. So a lot of things moving and shaking there. And again, we'll get into that as the weeks go on, right, as the time goes on with the Combine and the draft and all those things. But Joe Douglas is there in Indy and sat down, spoke with the media about the New York Jets and the things that they're doing. And, of course, the first thing he spoke about was the New York Jets quarterback position and their, them looking into the veteran quarterback position and looking to acquire one this offseason. And, of course, he spoke about Derek Carr first. Didn't speak much about Aaron Rodgers. It really didn't bring up Aaron Rodgers at all because, of course, we all know that Aaron Rodgers is still on the Packers. He made it very clear that he didn't want to get involved in possibly getting a tampering charge because, again, that can happen when you're talking about players that are currently still on another football team. So he strayed away from that. But he definitely talked quite a bit about Derek Carr because Derek Carr is a free agent. He spoke glowingly about Derek Carr. And he says that the meeting between Derek Carr and the franchise when he came and had his visit, he said it went fantastic. And Carr really impressed everyone. And that's something that we heard already. Derek Carr is a guy, when we've seen him at press conferences, very passionate about the game, understands it, and is, been very clear as well that he's going to continue to move around and look for teams that, want to acquire his services. And so Joe Douglas said he, did a great job. He impressed them all. Of course, he liked what he saw on the field from Derek Carr as well, watching his tape. He called him a great producer as well. And he just talked about how impressive he was. And when the media kind of pressed him and said, hey, what are you going to do with this quarterback situation? When are you going to make the decision on who you're going to go with? And he said, they'll pull the trigger when the time is right. Joe Douglas also said that free agency versus trade will factor into which veteran QB they decide to go with. Okay. Now that was kind of big for me because I think what that kind of whistles to is we all know the New York Jets are all in on Aaron Rodgers from everything that we've heard. They love Aaron Rodgers. He's their number one guy. They're still waiting to see, and we'll get into him in a second. But they're still waiting to see what's going on over there, and he's their number one guy. But there's a chance that if the Packers make that frying pan way too hot, say if they're asking for just far too much, and he looks at that situation and goes, you know what? This is too much. I don't want to give up this much capital. Or maybe there's too many question marks surrounding him, his future. Maybe the Jets just don't get a warm, fuzzy feeling about him. Then they will go with other options that they have. They won't just say, hey, we're going to stick with Aaron Rodgers through hell or high water. We're going to acquire this guy. No. They've done their due diligence. Again, they brought Carr in, and that was for a reason. So they're going to take all those factors into place, free agency versus making a trade for preferably Aaron Rodgers. And they'll make their decision. They'll decide to go with that. So that's going to be a major factor for them. Now, for those of you that were constantly talking about how we couldn't afford Derek Carr, and we can't afford Aaron Rodgers as well because he's asking for so much money, Joe Douglas also came out and spoke about the New York Jets cap situation. He said there's not much money tied up in prorated contracts against the salary cap. He said they can make a lot of room for big contracts and praised the salary cap team. Talked about the great flexibility they have to create very large amount of cap space if necessary. He talked about a lot of the future of the New York Jets cap-wise, it looking very good, and how they can pull from that to really continue to benefit their future. Now, this, to me, was huge. This was an extremely, extremely significant statement to me because not only does that lend an ear to them acquiring a quarterback of the ilk of Aaron Rodgers, right? Because Aaron Rodgers' contract is like $50 million. Some people say $60 million, whatever. But as of right now, we're looking at a lot of people talking about $50 million that he could be on your cap. And there was a lot of people saying, hey, I don't want to pay that. We don't have enough. We're going to have to cut all these guys and so on and so forth. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I talked about that. You can set up the contract in a certain way so that in future years, right, he'll be able to make some money. and he'll be able to get some things done, right? So bringing in Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr, if they decide to go that way, is not going to kill us. Not only that, but it also opens the door to us possibly making other big splashes as well to continue to benefit this football team roster-wise, because we have the money. We can pull and put contracts where we can backload contracts and allow these guys to make money a couple years down the line. That's great GMing, and again, he talked about the salary cap team. We have a great salary cap team as well that does their jobs. And I talked about this. Everybody's concerned about the New York Jets cap space and all these things. Listen, we don't have much money tied up in the future. You watch the Saints. The Saints just did it. They're restructuring guys. They're moving things around. And guess what? They've created a bunch of cap space for themselves, and they're continuing to chip away to get under the cap yet again, and they do it every single year. So thinking that the New York Jets don't have the money or cap space to be able to compete in the future, I think would be wrong. Lauren Shorty salutes to you. He says, do you think we can get D-Hop? That's another question that a lot of people started talking about surrounding the New York Jets, and also discussing, when we discuss the cap. There's a possibility. Again, D-Hop is making a lot of money, though. But if we can kind of change his contract, maybe he'd be able to restructure with us. There's a chance. I think the New York Jets are going to spend, and D-Hop has also been a guy that has been talked about as possibly being a target of the New York Jets in the wide receiver position. But salutes to you, Lauren. So when you look at the situation with Aaron Rodgers, we can absolutely afford him to bring him in. We can get it done here if need be. And I think that, again, that statement was a whistle to that. And even Aaron Rodgers himself has talked about being, open to changing his contract or adjusting his contract for the team that acquires him if he were to move on from the Packers. So that keeps the door open. Now, while we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, boy, oh boy, he came out of that darkness, and we're still in darkness. He's out of the darkness, but we still are in the darkness as far as his NFL future. Currently, as of right now, and again, this is a live show, things are continuing to shake and move as we're here talking, and we'll get to the lines in a second. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Hold on a second. We'll get to the lines. The Packers GM today came out, sat down with the media in Indy, and he said that Aaron Rodgers has not told the Packers his plans. Nothing. He also said that he hasn't spoken with him in length since the end of the season. He also said, until we have those conversations, I think all options are on the table. Wow. Aaron Rodgers, even though he came out of the darkness, okay? We out of the darkness, baby. We thought we would be getting an answer. We have not gotten an answer. And not only has he not let anyone else know, right? He hasn't even talked to the Packers general manager. Wow. So here the Packers are, still on the hook here, still waiting to see. Of course, they're talking up Jordan Love, saying that he's ready to start, ready to go. And again, with him saying, I think our options are on the table now, that means that the options to trade him are still open as well. And maybe this also speaks to the fact that Aaron Rodgers is leaning more towards getting out of that Packers organization and leaving them. Maybe that's what it is. We'll be discussing that as well. This is getting deep. It's getting deep. Salutes to Lauren Shorty with a big donation. I said salutes to Lauren Shorty with a big donation, man. He said no salutes to you, my friend. Thank you so much, man. I want to thank you for giving to the platform. I know everybody's excited. I'm hyped as well. We're really engaging and getting into it. And the fact that Aaron Rodgers still has said nothing to the Packers. Ooh, things are looking a little off there. We'll be discussing that. As they continued on, though, Joe Douglas also continued to speak about the New York Jets quarterback situation. He spoke about Zach Wilson. He says that the franchise still believes that Zach Wilson can hit a ceiling because he loves football and he works hard. He said that most people in the league that love football, they work hard like he does, will hit their ceiling. And of course, this is par for the course, right? The New York Jets have come out and said constantly they're not going to give up on Zach Wilson. The coaching staff came out and said through hell or high water, they're going to continue to coach him and they're going to get the best out of him. All right. I mean, they are committed to Zach Wilson as they should be. As they should be. I mean, Joe Douglas drafted him. You know, he's going to stick with this kid and see what he has until the end is the end. All right. Douglas also went on to talk about Quinnen Williams as well. He says he's had very good discussions, several good discussions with Quinnen Williams, and he feels that the process will play out the right way. Now, that was big too, because Quinnen Williams, as we all know, is a monster this past season, man. And there was a lot of questions going into this season as well about Quinnen. A lot of people were wondering what he was going to turn out to be. There were some Jets fans that wanted to trade him. Let's keep it real. I remember hearing about that. Let's get rid of him for a 3rd-round pick. Let's get rid of him for a 2nd-round pick. Let's get him out of here. A lot of people had questions if he would ever turn into the type of player that we hoped that we would get, drafting him so high in the draft. And this year he came up, showed out, and absolutely dominated up front. And now it's contract time, and he's come out publicly and talked about how he wants to be a Jet, but he wants to get fair market value. He wants to be compensated fairly. He also brought up how the New York Jets have issues signing players that they draft, re-signing them, getting that 2nd contract, and keeping players that are talented on his football team, which was a masterful move. He also talked about how, you know, he's a guy that wants to be here, a team guy, has done everything the right way. And he also spoke and said, hey, if he doesn't have a contract by voluntary workout time, he's not going to show up. He's not going to show up. And so he put that out there early. And he softly put a little bit of pressure there on the Jets front office. And of course, Joe Douglas has spoken about it. You know, he hasn't said, hey, I'll give him whatever he wants, but he said, hey, we realize what Quinnen brings to the table. We realize what Quinnen has, what he's brought to the team, and we're going to make sure, you know, that we do our darndest to keep him. He said that in the past. So just knowing that these discussions are going well, and they've had several discussions, and that he feels like the process will play out the right way, that's beautiful. And I believe that domino on Quinnen Williams will fall once the New York Jets figure out what their situation is at quarterback. Whether they go with Carr, Rodgers, hopefully we get one of those guys. You know, I think once they get that locked in, then they'll make sure they attack the Quinnen Williams situation, get him squared away, and keep him a Jet for years to come. He also talked about the offensive line as well, which is something we're going to be discussing tonight too. Man, the Jets offensive line needs some work, and Joe Douglas knows that. He talked about the offensive line definitely being one of his priorities for the offseason. He spoke about Dwayne Brown. He says Dwayne Brown is still under contract. He had surgery on his shoulder, and he's waiting on his recovery to discuss the status with him. Loves the player and the person. He went into Dwayne Brown's shoulder injury that he had during the season. He said that he, doesn't think he's ever heard of a player playing with the type of shoulder injury that Dwayne Brown had and continuing on. And we discussed that during the season as well, that Dwayne Brown could have wrapped it all up with that shoulder injury, got the surgery, and sat down at his house and been done. But he didn't do it. He came out, he said, you know what, I'm gonna give whatever I got, give it a go. And, he played decently. And so we'll see what happens going forward with Dwayne Brown. I would think that the New York Jets would move away from him. Again, the Jets do have issues at tackle. We know that, whether it be, figuring out, what we're going to do at our tackle position, because there's some gigantic holes there. But this kind of leaves the door open to possibly, Joe Douglas maybe keeping Dwayne Brown around. Again, if they do cut Dwayne Brown, they could save $9.7 million on the cap. But we'll see what happens going forward. Maybe Dwayne Brown becomes an integral piece, an integral backup, because that's something to speak about as well, because he also talked about Mekhi Becton. He said Mekhi Becton is in the best place he's been mentally and physically in a while. Says he's waiting until the league year to start before discussing the 5th-year option. Also talked about how dominant Mekhi Becton was in his rookie season. Now, Mekhi Becton, let me tell you something, has some big questions surrounding him, all right? He's been injured the past 2 seasons. We all know he had the knee injury. And then this past season, we looked at the situation, and we were thinking, hey, we're going to get the Mekhi Becton that we got his rookie year. He's going to come in. He's going to be dominant. He's going to, make things happen. We're going to see Mekhi Becton step up and step forward, and it just didn't work out. Came out this year. There was a lot of questions about his, physical his physical preparedness, whether he was in shape or not. A lot of talk about him and his work ethic as well. That was thrown out there. There was also rumors swirling about the coaching staff. Currently, at the time it was Mike LaFleur. Robert Saleh was here as well, as we all know, that they were not happy with him and his physical status, that he was out of shape, that he was way out of shape. There was a lot of weight concerns and all these things. He was moved to right tackle as well. They left Fant at left tackle because they said Fant was more comfortable at left tackle than right tackle. So they allowed Fant to be the starting left tackle. So there was all these questions surrounding him. Could he get his weight under control? The work ethic questions. Was that knee good? And he's moving to right tackle. And he tried to give it a go, and the knee just didn't work. It didn't work. He ended up fracturing his kneecap and sat out the season as well. Was on an IR. He's supposed to come back at one point, but according to even his, people in his camp and in his team, that Mekhi Becton's injury was in such a situation that he was never really going to come back. So he never came back the rest of the season, finished the season on IR. But everything that we've seen from Mekhi Becton recently, man, he's posting pictures constantly. That guy slimmed down a lot. I mean, he's been slim before, but he's very much in shape. He's excited. You can tell that he's talked about hearing a lot of the people that are constantly talking negatively about him, hearing a lot of people that want to destroy him, hearing a lot of people that are talking down on him and bad on his name, and that he's going to show up and show out this year, and he's fired up. And I'm excited for Mekhi Becton as well. But here's the deal. The New York Jets have to sign his fifth-year option. They have a choice they have to make, and it's coming up in May. This fifth-year option is coming up. And there's a lot of talk that the New York Jets will not sign that fifth-year option. Now, keep in mind that fifth-year option keeps him here past 2024. At this point, his fifth-year option is $13.5 million. And you got to wonder, will the New York Jets sign that? Will they? He's a guy that has had injury issues, been a great concern there. And if you sign that, I believe you still have to have a backup plan for him as well, because as much as I love Mekhi Becton, and I think he's great, I think he can be a dominant tackle. I think he's going to come back this year and absolutely destroy fools. But there's no way that if you're Joe Douglas, you can look at this situation and go, hey, I can just trust Mekhi Becton to be my starting left or right tackle and not really have a plan, behind him. You have to. He hasn't been healthy in 2 years. He hasn't been. So the New York Jets are definitely going to have a big question. Will they sign Mekhi Becton? Will they sign his fifth-year option? It's a huge question for the New York Jets this coming off season. They got until May. They got to figure it out. Boy, oh boy. So we're going to get to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639. I can go on forever. I'm telling you, I can go on forever about the Jets. I love it. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. All right, we'll get to y'all in a second. I got to get to these lines because they are hot. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. I'm taking all callers. Again, please give the stream a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Also, as well, when you call in, please be patient. We'll get to everybody. Also, make sure there's no background noise, all right, when you call in, too. I don't want to be hearing no crazy stuff. And there's no cursing on my show, okay? No cursing, because I'll get you out of here fast. I'm talking fast. Faster than we got Mike LaFleur out of here. Get out of here, Mike. Oh, my goodness. Well, that was fast. I mean, he did land with the Rams, but we got him out of here fast. Went to explore other opportunities, so they say. So we're going to get to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. First caller I'm going to is my guy, Jason. Jason, we're coming directly to you. Jason, salutes. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, Jason, for those of you that don't know as well, that man, Jason, he's a savage. Savage. Salutes to you, Jason. I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, Jason, there's a lot of talk. Joe Douglas sat down with the media today and discussed quite a bit of things that was going on with the New York Jets. What are your thoughts about all the great words that he had to say about Derek Carr, man?
Well, first thing first, I want to say that thank you for having me. But man, Joe Douglas, man, he's playing these cards to his hand here. He's making. Of course, he's gonna say that, man. He's gonna say that to any QB, man. He hinted on Rodgers later on, and then but you know what? He's doing a good job. You know, he's making sure that no one knows what the Jets are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And for a GM, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's all we can ask for. Even we don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we're actually fans.
Yeah. I mean, I think, again, I think that they've had great discussions there and a great meeting. But like you said as well, he's keeping some things close to the vest. Speaking of keeping things close to the vest, man, Aaron Rodgers coming out that darkness retreat, right? We all thought that we would get some type of answer at this point. A lot of people saying, hey, the day after he comes out of the retreat, we're going to get something. He still has not said anything to the Packers at all about his future. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think that that's an indication that he's done with the Packers and he's ready to move on?
No. Again, he just got through his thing, and it's not. This is normal. I saw this for.
Really?
We were never gonna know by the time. Even when we got out, we shouldn't have expected it. This, and not only that, people are saying that Carl's gonna sign before Rodgers. I don't even think that's. If Carl is smart, and I know he is, he's gonna wait until Rodgers falls. Because when he falls, his money goes up. So he's going to wait until Rodgers goes. So we have all the time. Rodgers is going to be the first ship to fall, mark my words.
Okay. Well, how about this, though? Because you just said this was normal, and I hear what you're saying about Carr, but why would Carr wait? What if Carr, right? What if Aaron Rodgers is targeted to go to a team that Carr values the most? Let's say if Carr is looking at this situation and he feels like Aaron Rodgers is going to go to the Panthers and he values the Panthers, why wouldn't Carr want to make sure that he signs and gets to a team that is going to value him? Why wouldn't Carr want to be a guy that wants to go to a team that he values before Aaron Rodgers is able to get snatched up? Wouldn't that work for Carr a bit more?
I wouldn't see if Carr is going to like the Panthers or someone like that. Rodgers ain't going there. I think Carl knows at which team that he's probably going. If Carl wants to go to the Jets, then I would be worried 100%. But that's a whole different situation to talk. If it's a team like he wants to go to either the Saints or the Panthers, Rodgers ain't going there. So if Rodgers goes, then there's the last QB to go around, which increases money because people will want him more.
But when you talk about Aaron Rodgers, and one of the things you said earlier as well is you felt it was normal. I mean, how long are we supposed to wait for Aaron Rodgers to make his decision or let us know how he feels? Because at this point, if you keep playing these games, right, you went into this darkness retreat for however long, right? It started after you initially told us it was supposed to start, a couple days. And now you still haven't said anything. You haven't even told the Packers general manager. I mean, if you're Joe Douglas and you're looking at this situation, why wouldn't you just sign Derek Carr at this point, and say, look, I'm done with the games. I'm done playing. I'll just bring in Derek Carr because I know for a fact he wants to play football. I know for a fact that this is a team that, the New York Jets are a team that he's interested in. He wants to play here. He's interviewed with us well. It went fantastic. We believe he's a fit. Why wouldn't you just go with Derek Carr at this point instead of messing around with Aaron Rodgers and waiting for all this drama to play out with him?
Well, I'll give you a simple explanation. They don't believe in him, or else they would have signed him. Go look at the interview where the quote-unquote Jets told him he could be a Hall of Famer on this team. If that was the case, then something would have gone done. So either that take was false, or someone's lying. And so, in my opinion, I think the Jets are looking for Rodgers or nothing. I think they 100%, unless he retires, I think they're all in on Rodgers, and they're waiting to wait as long as it takes.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of reports in there. They are all in on Rodgers, but I'll tell you what. The fact that Aaron Rodgers is still not talking to the Packers general manager, and he still has said nothing to them, starting to, make me a little nervous. I will say that much. And I'm starting to feel like if he wants to play this type of game where he's going to wait, however much longer, because Derek Carr is continuing to meet with teams. Again, he's meeting with the Saints again today. He's talks about he's going to meet with the Panthers, and if there's other teams that are lined up to talk to him, man, we don't have all these games. Because let's say he takes all this time and decides to stay with the Packers, or he takes all this time and decides to retire, we're going to be up a creek. Because then the floor is going to be all Derek Carr's. All. And that price to sign him will go up. For a fact. That's how it works. And there are going to be teams that will vie for his services. So I'm a little bit worried at this point, because, again, Aaron Rodgers has still not talked to the Packers general manager and let them know. Now, another question I have for you, Jason. You look at the situation. Joe Douglas talked about the New York Jets cap situation and how they have, a lot of cap space, particularly in the future, a lot of things that they can pull from. Do you think that kind of was hinting towards the fact that the New York Jets could be in for maybe 2 splash moves, maybe more in free agency to really help this football team outside of, acquiring a quarterback?
Well, I wanted to say that something you said to me that was interesting. You asked, how was the Saints able to do what they do, even though they're negative? They're like negative 50 every year, and yet they're somehow able to come back. They do a strategy that they take money that they have for the future and sell it for today. They're taking future money and selling it, and they keep taking future money. And if we could do that, if we could do what they do, we can have as much talent as we want. I believe in this team. We have so many cap space. Cap space means nothing, in my opinion, in this day and age. You can do so much. If we can literally go sign anyone we want if we truly wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's some limits. I will say that. There's some limits, but definitely there's ways that you can manipulate the cap, and like you said as well, and I talked about it, the Saints do it every single year, where they set themselves up in a situation where they're able to restructure guys, push money a little bit further down in the future, and they find themselves in great situations to continue to acquire talent and continue to compete on a yearly basis in this league. Now, one of the things I think that's going to be integral to the New York Jets and competing is the offensive line and fixing it. There's a lot of discussion about Mekhi Becton and his 5th-year option. To this point, what are your thoughts about Mekhi Becton and, his state? There's a lot of people, again, I talked about it, him being in shape. Do you believe that Mekhi Becton will come back and have a bounce-back year this upcoming year? And do you believe that the New York Jets should sign his 5th-year option?
Well, first I want to mention what you said about last year. We all heard about reports that Mike LaFleur and the offense was all the coaches were not happy with him because the report was he was overweight and all that, and there might be some truth to that. He got in, he had to slowly get put in, and he got injured. Now we can speculate on the injury. The injury could be not related to if he was in shape or not, or it could be. All we can do is speculate. We're not there. We can't say it. But there might be some truth to that. And I want to see him, if he can be healthy, I'm expecting the Jets not to pick up his 5th-year option just because it's risky to pick that up because we don't know if he's going to be able to play because the last 2 years he hasn't been able to barely even play a game. So it's hard to sign him. He's a great player when he's on the field, but he barely be on the field. That's the only problem with him.
Yeah. I have to agree with you there. You look at the situation, man. It's tough. And again, I love Mekhi Becton. I think he's amazing, but he's got to show you that he can remain healthy before you even really think about that 5th-year option. And that's why I don't believe that the New York Jets will pick it up. There's a lot of rumors swirling that they won't either, but we'll see what Joe Douglas and them do. But, man, it's a lot of questions surrounding Mekhi Becton right now in his situation. And as you continue to talk about the offensive line, man, what are your thoughts on Joe Douglas's comments on Dwayne Brown, talking about discussing the future with him. Do you think that he's a guy that could be in the Jets' plans to continue to play here and possibly start at tackle?
I believe that he's in the future plans, and we hope that he can come back and play for us. He could be just like what happened this year. He could be the backup to Mekhi, and if Mekhi goes down, he could possibly be his replacement for that. But this offensive line, there's a lot of work to be done. Our center, we don't have a center.
Yeah.
I saw a center on this team anymore. McGovern's out.
Yep.
And it doesn't sound like they want to bring him back. So we got to fix that, and then we got to fix the other tackle. So and only that, the left guard with Thomason, he wasn't that good. Hopefully, maybe he could turn around this season. But we got so much to fix in this offensive line. It's going to be it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this offseason about that offensive line.
Yeah, it is. And then my final question for you, because you brought it up, this other tackle position, when you look at the situation of the Jets offensive line, we're talking about Mekhi Becton. Do you think Mekhi Becton will end up back at left tackle? Or are you thinking that the New York Jets will look to draft the left tackle in this upcoming draft if they were to keep their capital and keep Mekhi Becton at right tackle? What do you think happens with him?
Well, in my honest opinion, I think that they're going to probably put him on left tackle because Brown's left tackle. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, he's a left tackle for sure.
So they're gonna move him to left tackle and have Brown be his backup. So for the right tackle, we're gonna probably draft somebody. I'm expecting if we don't trade for Rodgers or if that trade doesn't include the first round pick, I'm expecting a first round pick to actually be a center and our second round pick to be a tackle. Okay.
So
expect us to trade. Expect us to get them through the draft.
Okay. Why are you taking a center in the first round instead of a tackle? Because there's a lot of guys out there, already. Paris Johnson, Ron Skoronski, all these guys that are out there. There's a lot of running tackles. Why would you prefer the New York Jets to take a center in the first instead of a tackle with all these guys out there?
Because there's a lot of depth in tackle and there isn't a lot for center.
Okay. All right. Listen, Jason, this has been a fire call from you. I want to thank you for calling in, my friend. You have yourself a good night.
You too as well. Shut up, everyone.
All right, peace out. Listen, he's calling in. He has some takes. I don't know about taking a center in the first. Let me tell you something. There's some tackles out there that I think the New York Jets will be happy with. Again, Peter Skoronski, Northwestern, I like him. Paris Johnson, I've been talking about him from Ohio. I think he's a guy that can end up with the New York Jets as well. There's going to be a run at tackle. There's a kid, Jones from Georgia, Broderick Jones, I believe, from Georgia. There's some talking, man. Some guys that can come in here and do some things. We're going to continue to discuss that again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. Salutes to the savages in the chat. Lauren Shorty says, what are we doing with the 13th pick? That's an extremely interesting question. As of right now, I'm thinking that the New York Jets are absolutely going to address the offensive line, possibly the first 3 rounds. I could see the Jets taking offensive linemen. I could, especially at tackle position. And I just talked about it. Paris Johnson, I think, is a guy that the New York Jets should target. Peter Skoronski as well. I think he's a guy that could be a target for the Jets. Jalen Duncan from Maryland. There's a lot of guys that are out there that I could see the New York Jets going after, with that 13th pick. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot to discuss, but the New York Jets are absolutely going to address their offensive line, with their first rounder. If they still have it. Because there's a chance we can end up trading for Aaron Rodgers. So we're going to get back to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers next. Going to my guy, Steve. Steve, we're coming directly to you. Salutes to you, Steve. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Listen, man, there's a lot to discuss. Joe Douglas meeting with the media today, talking quite a bit. Talked about the Jets quarterback position. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers. What are your thoughts on the fact that Aaron Rodgers still has yet to talk to anyone, especially the Packers, about his future in the NFL, man? I mean, Where does that put you with him? Do you think that the Jets should just move off of him at this point?
Hey, Joe. Well, first of all, thank you again for having me on your show tonight, man. Always great to talk to you about this team,
Thank you.
Talk about, like, what's going to happen in the next couple of months with this team. But you know something, Joe? Let me tell you something. It's an exciting time now because now we're about to get into the brand new year. The combine is here.
Mm-hmm.
The free agency is coming up in a couple of weeks. The draft is about almost a month and a half away. But yeah, we're excited. It's exciting now, like for the off season. But you know something, Joe? I mean, listen. I don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. Listen. I mean, listen. I said this to you before on your show that I think that I think if we don't get Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr is definitely the second option, and the best part is, even if we end up signing Derek Carr and not trading for Aaron Rodgers, we still keep that first round pick, the 13th overall pick. And I'm with you, Joe. We'll even talk about this more. So I do believe that the Jets have to get somebody on the offensive line at the 13th pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, yeah, I believe that as well, and that's again if they have the 13th pick. But my question, though, is, Steve, is, listen, we're sitting through a lot of things with Aaron Rodgers right now, right? We have this darkness retreat, and he was supposed to figure out what he was going to do then, and goes into the darkness retreat couple days, and it was later than what he said, and then he comes out the darkness retreat now. He still hasn't told anyone what he wants to do with his future here in the NFL. All the while, you got Derek Carr meeting with all these teams. He's having another visit with us. He's having another visit with the Saints. He's supposedly, according to rumors, having visits with the Carolina Panthers. That's a new team. According to other reports as well, there's other teams as well. He's in Indy during the combine, shopping himself, talking to all kind of general managers and owners. So now we have all these other teams as well getting into the mix, vying for Derek Carr, while we're sitting here waiting for Aaron Rodgers to figure out or tell us anything, that he's figured out himself. Wouldn't it be smarter for the New York Jets to just target Derek Carr more right now and get that deal done if he's willing to sign than to keep chasing Aaron Rodgers, to continue to wait for Aaron Rodgers at this point?
Yeah, no. I mean, listen, Joe, you definitely made a good point there, because I think personally, if Aaron Rodgers is going to continue to just like be in this darkness, and let's say if this continuously goes on into free agency, then honestly, Joe, I think what we need to do is skip the whole thing with Aaron Rodgers and go sign Derek Carr.
Yeah. Again, if he's
go
ahead, Steve.
No, but then here was the thing, though. Like, a couple of my friends, because we were actually talking about this. My friend, I think you spoke to him about it. He's spoken to you before. My friend Alex, who's a Jets fan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have another friend. I mean, he's not really a football fan, but he's technically a Dolphins fan. And they were talking to me about, like, the whole thing with Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers. And they both told me that they think that signing Derek Carr or getting Aaron Rodgers in a trade would be a mistake. And I said, well, why do you guys think that? And then they told me, well, listen, Steve, I wouldn't want Aaron Rodgers to come to the New York Jets because Aaron Rodgers would create drama in a locker room. Like, look at what he did last year with Green Bay, one of my friends told me. And then the other one told me that, well, Steve, no offense, Aaron Rodgers is past his prime. I don't think he doesn't have it anymore. And then they were even talking to me about the thing with Derek Carr. And the thing is, like, one of my friends says that even though, yes, Derek Carr is a 4-time Pro Bowler, he feels that Derek Carr is a type of a quarterback that can never get the job done in big situation games. And, I mean, I told him, hey, listen, they both do agree that Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers are better quarterback options than Zach Wilson is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and one of my friends did mention about the thing that yes, Zach Wilson can learn under one of those two and then maybe get an idea if you guys keep Zach Wilson for the future. But heck, one of my friends even said to me, hey, listen, Steve, I wouldn't mind having Zach Wilson start again for a third straight year so he can learn under a new offensive system.
Whoa.
But I told him, hey, listen, at the end of the day, I even told my friends at the end of the day, we need a veteran quarterback. That's what we need to do. We need to get.
Yeah, listen, you sound like the most stable football-wise, mentally, of all your friends. Whoa. Listen, Zach Wilson, and I'm a Zach Wilson guy. He sucked this year. And I understand, look, he needs time. And we all understand that. And we all know that. You look at the mechanics, you look at everything else. I don't believe that he'll be ready. I think it's going to take a lot of work for him to be ready to be a starter in the NFL. And I think that that's why the New York Jets publicly, privately, and publicly have talked about, going after a quarterback. If it was anything other than that, they would not be coming out literally saying, we are going to be looking for a quarterback this offseason. We are targeting veteran quarterbacks, and they would have never have done that publicly if they believed, hey, Zach Wilson's going to be ready to be a starter. He's not. And so I think with that put aside and put way to the side, okay, when you look at this situation here and you talked about Carr, I think there's a lot of people saying a lot of things about Carr, penning narratives about him that I do not believe are true. Okay, talking about he can't get it done and all these things. That's not true. This guy competed. This guy took the Raiders to the playoffs twice. Okay, were the Raiders truly set up for success, I think, is the better question. Everybody keeps saying, well, Derek Carr can't get it done in big games. Well, what big games exactly has he been in, right? And when you look at football is not just about the quarterback. If you look at Derek Carr, he did it. 4 4,000-yard seasons. 4 4,000-yard seasons, 3 Pro Bowls. Okay? He's getting it done. When you look at outside of this year, right, with Davante Adams, was still somewhere around his average. I think he was, he was still getting it done with Carr, but he only had Waller for 8 games. But no one talks about the Raiders' defense. No one talks about that ever when they talk about Carr. No one wants to talk about how bad that defense has been since he's been there. No one wants to talk about McDaniels and his coaching and how tough the offense is to learn and how tedious they say that it is. We talk about this on a weekly basis. I feel like there's a lot of narratives about Derek Carr that have been spun that I just don't believe. And I believe that he's a quality quarterback that if he can go somewhere that isn't dysfunctional, that isn't set up, in a situation where he is put in bad spots, that he will be able to succeed. And not only that, a lot of this stuff talking about him playing in cold weather games. He's in Denver. He plays against Denver all the time late in seasons. And we saw him go in there in various years and get it done. And it's freezing there. So these narratives have got to stop. But I tell you what, Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers, one of those guys needs to be on this football team. One of them do. And I understand that even Joe Douglas himself talked about free agency or, versus a trade being a factor. And I'm thinking, again, if Aaron Rodgers keeps playing around or if the Packers ask too much, the price tag is too high for Aaron Rodgers, I believe the New York Jets will move on and they'll end up signing Carr. But I just don't want the Jets to wait too long for Aaron Rodgers to get strung out, especially with Carr looking at the situation, continuing to shop himself. But another thing as well I want to discuss with you, Steve, is the Jets' offensive line. Now, let me tell you something. Mekhi Becton, a lot of questions surrounding him, man. Do you believe that the New York Jets will pick up his 5th-year option in May?
Here is the thing. It really, 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 really depends on, how Becton looks going into the season coming up. I really, really, really need to see that. As of right now, I can't really say yes or no on picking up the 5th-year option just yet on him. I mean, we just got to see what happens.
Why can't you?
But
why can't you?
Listen,
what? No, hold on a second. Hold on a second, Steve. Why can't you? As of right now, he hasn't played football in 2 years, right? You have a stellar rookie season. He missed some games there too. You see the talent. You see what's there. When he's healthy, he's on an all-pro level. He hasn't played in 2 years. Let me put you in this situation. If you're the Jets general manager, I'm going to make you Joe Douglas. Looking at Mekhi Becton, his body of work, what he's done, some of the questions about him, it's May. You have to decide whether you want to sign him or not right now. Are you signing that 5th-year option? Are you giving him that $13.5 million 5th-year option to keep him here past 2024? Are you doing it?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
and
why?
The reason why I am is, and Joe, the reason why I am is because I think Becton deserves a chance. Because the thing is, everybody all calls him lazy, that he's not good enough. I mean, and the thing is, listen, he did, obviously, we saw what happened to him his second season when He got hurt the first game of the year against Carolina, couldn't come back after that injury. Then obviously what happened last year during training camp, I remember it was after the green and white practice, a couple of days after that event, when he ended up injuring his kneecap and it was out for the rest of the year. And obviously because he wasn't in the shape as he was. But let me tell you something, he's worked very, very hard to get back into like his shape that he needs to get. And I think Mekhi could definitely show that promise that he showed during his rookie season that he can bring into his fourth season. The main thing is we just have to make sure he's healthy. But I would give him the fifth-year option.
Okay.
Now, the other thing, Joe, I want to talk to you about was the thing with Joe Douglas. Let me tell you something, Joe. After all the years when we've had the bad general managers, when we had after from having John Idzik and Mike Maccagnan. I mean, listen, Mike Tannenbaum was a good, decent GM, but then we went through the 2 bad years with Idzik and the many bad years with Maccagnan. Joe Douglas is a general manager that I trust very, 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 very much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he knows where the cap situation is with the team. He knows like what has to be good for the team. And obviously, yes, he is addressing the quarterback situation and the thing with Quinnen Williams. And I think he'll get all of this done like before when the draft happens. Because the thing is, that is the goal. We got to get all of this done before the draft does happen. Because I don't want to be in a situation where we still don't know what's going to happen at the quarterback position, and then we go into the draft and finding out that, we still don't know what our quarterback position is.
Yeah.
The thing is, we got to make sure that we get it all done, and Joe Douglas is the guy who I do trust in getting this done. Like, I do have faith in Joe Douglas of what he's done, because he's done a lot of great things for us in the past.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we're going to see what happens, Joe.
Yeah, we are. Now, before I let you go, Steve, you bring in some heat, man. You look at the situation. Joe Douglas also spoke on how the cap situation is for the New York Jets, that we have a lot of cap, money in future years because we don't have much there. When you hear him talk about that, do you expect the New York Jets to possibly make maybe multiple splash moves in free agency this season to help better the roster outside of just grabbing a quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you mentioned about a good point about how DeAndre Hopkins is going to be available, and you were talking about like a few other certain players that we could definitely make this football team better. Joe, I think because here's the thing, there are definitely going to be some players that are going to get cut no matter what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we already know that there's going to be some players that are going to get released. Some players are going to get let go, and one thing that can happen is we can save that money and use it on a future player.
Yeah.
So like I said, Joe, I have all the trust in Joe Douglas.
Yeah. Listen, Steve, this was a phenomenal call from you, my friend. I want to thank you for calling in. You have yourself a good one, all right?
Thank you, Joe. Good night.
All right. Listen, Steve calling in with some takes, man. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. All right, please be patient. We'll get to everyone. Please give the stream a thumbs up. Also, share the stream as well with friends and your family across their social media. Subscribe if you have not subscribed and hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Salutes to the Savages in the chat. Jack Kenna, salutes to him. He says, LBJ speaking facts on how bad the Raiders defense is. And this is from a Raiders fan. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that paint this narrative about Carr like he was just holding the Raiders back, and he was killing them. Well, last time I checked, all right, Derek Carr is not a pass rusher, all right? He's also not a corner or a safety. He doesn't play linebacker. That Raiders defense is trash, okay? I'm telling you, it's been bad. There's been a lot of issues. They would routinely blow like 21, 14-point leads, routinely, okay? A lot of people don't like to talk about that. You know how you get up by 14 to 21 scoring touchdowns? You know how you do that? Your quarterback is playing well. All right. So we're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. All right. Next, I'm going to go to my guy, Val. I think this is Val. Val, salutes. I want to thank you for calling in tonight. Hold on a second. Before I let him talk, I got to let y'all know. That boy Val, he's a savage. Val salutes. I want to thank you for calling in. Look, Val, we're talking tonight, man. Joe Douglas talking to press at the having a press conference at the Combine, right? We're talking Jets offensive line. One of the things that's come out is that Aaron Rodgers has still not talked to the Packers about his future. He has not said anything. What are your thoughts about this, man? Are you starting to get a little nervous? I'm starting to think that the Jets should just move on from Aaron Rodgers and focus solely on Derek Carr at this point. That's what I'm thinking. What say you?
This is what I've been saying. I said 2 words for you. Red flags. That's what I'm saying, man. I've been saying it, man. All right, you committed to all that money last year, and now you're sitting here, well, I'm going to go into the darkness, I don't know if I'm going to really play, I don't know. Like, I think they're a good team, but I don't know. I don't want to, he just can't make up his decision. So that's what I'm saying. What is going to happen if we sign this guy to a whole bunch of money and then he's not fully committed, and then say we make it to the playoffs and then we get probably knocked out in the first round, hoping that doesn't happen at all. But I'm just saying, if it did, and then, the New York media is going to probably be on him and everything, and then, then he goes back into his shell in the offseason, and then he doesn't know what he wants to do. Because remember, this is the 3rd time in a row he's been contemplating retirement. He's been talking about retirement even more than Tom Brady. And Tom Brady really didn't want to walk away, but it's because of his age and, family issues and stuff. That's why he kind of walked away. But this is what I'm saying, man. Like, I don't trust Aaron Rodgers like that. That's why I had Lamar Jackson number 1 and Derek Carr number 2 and Aaron Rodgers number 3. Yeah. And we can't get none of those two.
No. Yeah, listen, I hear you. I hear you. Again, I'm a guy, I'm not going to lie. I still want to see, Aaron Rodgers in a Jets jersey, but I'm starting to get a little nervous here. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? My knees is trembling, okay? Because this whole game is getting a little annoying. And as the time continues on, we're seeing Derek Carr talk to various other teams, meeting with the Saints again, which, who knows what can happen over there. Now he's talking to the Carolina Panthers. Who knows? It could be the Bucks tomorrow. It could be the Niners next week. Now he's starting to garner more and more thoughts. It's like, come on, man. Like, Aaron Rodgers, let's see what's going on here. Can you talk to us? And the fact that he hasn't even talked to the Packers general manager makes me a little bit nervous. But the flip side of that, though, Val, I want to get your thoughts on this. There's a lot of people saying, well, yeah, he hasn't talked to the Packers general manager, but maybe that's because in his mind, he's probably definitely going to be out of there. He's not even worried about the Packers at this point. He wants to be gone. Do you think him not speaking to them about his future is kind of him starting to nudge them to, hey, let's make this move. Let me up out of here. Do you think that that's what it is?
And this is my problem with that, Joe. He made a commitment last year to this team, right? They gave him the most money. They got rid of Devontae Adams and everything like that. They made sure he was paid. He gave them a commitment. And then look what he's doing with that team right now. Isn't that a red flag to you, Joe?
I hear you. I hear you. But maybe he just, again.
That's a red flag.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. You make a commitment, and then you wake up and say, I'm up out of here. I understand that, coupled with the retirement
and
discussions.
Now they're hostage.
Okay, all right, I hear you.
Exactly. They don't know if they want to go with Jordan Love.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So this is my problem with Aaron Rodgers. I know everybody loves Aaron Rodgers. I just wish that Aaron Rodgers was 35 to 30 years old. Then I would be totally on board with it. But it's just that for me, I just feel like he's not 100% into football. That's how I feel. Okay. I just feel like he's not really into it mentally, but he still has the physical game, but he's just not into it mentally. Tom Brady, he was into it mentally. Like, he even possibly gave up his family for it. You know what I'm saying? But you could tell this guy, he's not really 100% into it. Derek Carr, he's hungry. He's hungry. He wants to play still. And you could tell he's going to be committed because he has a lot to prove. Came from the All-Pro and everything like that. So that's a guy that I want to aim for. Or possibly Lamar Jackson, And, yeah, that's what I got to say about that.
No, I hear you. Now, to continue to discuss this Jet situation and this roster, man, you also heard Joe Douglas talk about how much money they have available for them, in their cap situation in the future because they don't have money tied up in prorated contracts, right? So there's a lot of money in these future years that they could utilize to, make things happen. Joe Douglas quoted, he said, "We have great flexibility to create very large amounts of cap space if necessary." Do you think that opens the door to the New York Jets possibly making some other splash moves outside of just acquiring a quarterback in this upcoming free agency to continue to better this football team?
Listen, man, the more weapons we get, the more possibilities. And at first, all right, if we got all that cap and money, we have to take care of home first. We got to get Quentin Williams that contract.
Yeah.
I definitely want to get that reinsured, and, we got to take care of what we got now. And then, we got to figure out what we're going to do with the linebacker situation, Quan Alexander, or we're going to bring back Quincy.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely got to do that before we can make those big splashes. But, the cap, free agency is going to be first. So, we got to see what we're going to do with that as well. But let's bring up the most important position first is the offensive line. We got to address that for sure.
Yeah.
So, we definitely got to use that money for that. So before we get any other weapons, we got to address that offensive line. Because, we are not we're not in the easy division at all. We're in a very tough division that have very good D-line. So, definitely address our offensive line for sure.
Yeah, and when you're talking about the offensive line, I've been putting people's feet to the fire tonight. Mekhi Becton, there's a lot of questions surrounding him. We all know a lot of questions, especially with 2 years, with that knee injury. Now he's coming, back off that fractured kneecap, which he sat all last year, on IR, was supposed to come back, didn't come back. There was a lot of discussion surrounding that. You look at him now, he's posting a lot of pictures, and, clearly his guy's in shape. He's in the gym. He's working out. The Jets have a big, big decision to make on him coming up in May. That fifth-year option, that $13.5 million is nothing to laugh at, right? Val, if you're the Jets general manager, if you're Joe Douglas, all right? Oh, yeah, I'm going to make you Joe Douglas, You're Joe Douglas. It's May. It's time to make a decision on that fifth-year option. It's sitting right in front of you. All right, the paper that says yes or no on Mekhi Becton's fifth-year option is sitting right in front of you. Are you circling yes? Or are you circling no? And tell me why.
Oh, man, this could go any other way, man.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Listen, I'm not gonna be scared. I'm gonna pick an answer. I might have to lean to probably give. Wait, it's gonna be $13 million.
It's $13.5 million, and it will keep him here past 2024.
Oh, man.
It'll keep him here past 2024.
Okay. Oh man. Dang, that's tough. I'll give him a shot. I'll give him that 5th-year deal.
Okay.
I'll definitely.
Why?
I mean, listen. Why? Because of the production, man. Like what I seen from that rookie season, and a little bit of the, his second year before he got injured.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to put it into play as well too. But if everybody disagree with me, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But man, this man is. If everything aligns together and this man really plays out and balls out because he's in shape now, he could possibly even change his position to tight end the way how he's losing weight right now. But hey, man, and he's quick on the feet too. Remember that combine? And now he was a lot bigger then. So can you imagine that?
Yeah.
But hey, all jokes aside, but yeah, man, if the production is there, man, he's gonna really be a force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm.
So, but listen, I'm gonna give him that 5th-year option, man. I'm gonna run with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've bounced back and forth, but I can see both sides of the coin, like you said as well. I could see us picking up.
I can see both sides as well too.
Yeah, I could see us picking up that 5th-year option because, like you said, the flash, that rookie year, man. What do they call him? Highway 77. Right, he was just destroying people, and he wasn't just destroying a bunch of cans, a bunch of nobodies. Right, he wasn't beat up on a bunch of tomato cans. No, that first year he was facing some of the top pass rushers in the league, from Bosa to Chubb to all those guys, and he was stuffing those guys. He was getting physical with them. He was slamming people. He was pancaking people. He was doing it all. And then the injury, that knee injury, and we thought, okay, he'll come back. and then the knee injury, the fractured kneecap, and then he didn't play this season, and then it was the weight concerns and the work ethic concerns, and then it was the position change to right tackle, But again, like you said as well, you look at that rookie year, if he's fully healthy and he's committed, clearly, he's talked about it, and we've seen it, he's in the gym, and he's hearing all the hate and the naysayers. You give this guy a fifth-year option, he comes out and dominates, and then you can keep him 2024, 13.5. And again, maybe we move him back to right tackle, and I want to discuss that with you as well, or left tackle, excuse me, and I want to discuss that with you as well. You look at that situation, you might have a dominant, possibly all-pro, type left tackle for 13.5. I mean, that is nothing. That is nothing, really, because those guys, top
that's
tackles.
What I'm saying.
Yeah, top tackles in the league
saying.
get paid a lot of money, but there's a lot of ifs with him because of the injury history, and that's where I see the other side is like, hey, this guy wasn't in shape, big knee injury. He's already a big guy. You just talked about it as well. He's been big since we drafted him. That was one of the knocks on him when we drafted him. Like, this guy's way too big. A lot of people said he was way too big to ever be good in the league. They figured, he's just a big guy that's throwing people around in college. He's not going to be able to do that in the league. He's had weight concerns since then. There's a lot of other concerns as well. So I see both sides of the coin there, Val. I'm putting people's feet to the fire. But I see both sides of the coin. But you're going with it.
I see. You had me guessing a little bit. You had me a little bit sweaty, man. It's a winter time in New York. It's cold, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man. I respect it, man. You got to come with the heat, man. Yeah.
So when you look at this,
don't do it a little too hot because it's dry talk.
So when you look at this situation, right? You talked about, we just talked about Mekhi Becton. At this point, right? Say he comes back healthy. Do you think the Jets should move forward with him at left tackle and look to solidify the right tackle position? Or are you thinking that he stays at right tackle and the Jets will be looking to solidify the left tackle position, whether it be via free agency or the draft? What do you think the Jets are going to do there?
This is why I want that draft pick. This is exactly why I still want that 13th overall draft pick. If we could keep that pick, man, we could definitely do some wonders for sure. If everything aligns together and we could get a left tackle or a right tackle. But to answer your question, I will put him at right tackle or, left tackle because he has to earn his spot back,
Okay.
So he has a lot to work on. So
he's still going to be competing for that spot in your. I don't mean to cut you off, but he's still going to be competing for that left tackle spot.
Oh, no,
okay, in your mind, okay, go ahead, continue.
I believe so. Listen, you gotta prove yourself again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand it's been, you had the injury bug, but time has passed. NFL sometimes is not for long, so you gotta really ball out. This is his year, so I see he's really focused. He's put in the work. He's taking pictures. You know what I'm saying? He lost the weight, and now it's time to really get. You got to show that. You got to prove that you're that starting caliber left tackle again, so you could get your position back. So if you could do that and dominate, I would definitely give him back his position. So but yeah, he got to. I feel like he has to earn it back.
Okay.
As everybody should.
What are your thoughts about Dwayne Brown, man? Joe Douglas had a lot of really good things to say about Dwayne Brown. Do you think that he's a guy that could be in the Jets' future plans as possibly being starting left tackle or a backup? I mean, where do you see him right now?
Wait, Dwayne Brown, that's the one that came from the
Seahawks.
Seahawks, right?
Yeah, that we signed in free agency after we were talking to him before Mekhi went down, but he definitely came in, and him and Fant were on the line and stuff like that at one point.
I don't know about him, man. He was like a little bit. He was too many penalties from his side, man. I don't know, man. We might have to let that person go. I don't know. It's depending on if we still keep this draft pick. It's depending on how everything goes. And if we still have the pick and stuff, if we're still going to be there, then we could hold that up for a little bit. But I will possibly bring him back if we don't have that 13 overall pick. But to be honest, man, we might have to move on from him because it was too many penalties coming from his way, and the blocking. I can't really blame all of it on him, but it was just it was kind of inconsistent. It wasn't consistent.
Okay.
I would put it like that.
Okay. So my final question before I let you go, Val, there's been a lot of discussion as well about the center position. Connor McGovern, free agent. What do you think the Jets should do there? Do you think they should re-sign McGovern, maybe bring it back for a couple of years, or do you want to see them, maybe draft another starting center, or maybe is there a free agent center that you would like to take a look at?
Man, just like how you were saying, McGovern is trash, man. He might have to go, man.
Yeah.
He might have to go. That's another person that has to go as well, too. But I heard because of contract issues, we have to probably keep him because, cutting him would hurt us a little bit on the cap. So we probably have to keep him and stuff.
Well, he's a free agent this year.
To get rid of him.
He's a free agent.
Oh, he's a free agent?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he's an unrestricted free agent.
He can walk. Yeah, he could definitely walk. Yeah, for sure. I feel like he wasn't really another person that wasn't too consistent and stuff. He wasn't horrible, but he's just not up to the standard that we need to move on to that next position. I mean, to make that next step for us to be a elite. And real quick, man, I'm happy that we're finally going to get this national game. Let's not get embarrassed by the Browns. So I hope, we can get a quarterback in here. We can get our revenge because that Jaguars game that we had, for that national game, we have to set the mark right. So hopefully we definitely do our thing, man.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. That was a great announcement.
Yes. Listen, salutes, Val. I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
For sure, man. All right, man. Everybody hit and subscribe to Joe, man. And I'm out of here, so I got to slide.
Salutes. Have a good one. So Val calling in with some fire, man. I ain't going to lie. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking on callers. Next, I'm going to my guy, Ted. Ted, I'm coming directly to you. Ted brings the fire, man. Salutes to you, Ted. I want to thank you for calling in. For those of you that do not know, that man, Ted, he's a savage. Savage! Ted, salutes. I want to thank you for calling in, man. We're talking tonight, man. A lot of discussion. Jets, or Joe Douglas sat down with the media, had a press conference today at the Combine, discussed quite a bit. What are your thoughts, man, on Aaron Rodgers not talking to the Packers organization or anyone else to this point, right? And we're live. Maybe he just did 2 seconds ago. We've been live. He hasn't said anything to anyone about his future in the NFL. What are your thoughts about this? Is it making you nervous with the Jets even considering him as an option at this point? Should the Jets just move on? Because at this point, it's after the darkness retreat and all this other stuff, and he still has said nothing. What are your thoughts?
Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. Good evening. I just got here, by the way, so I really haven't heard some of the other callers. But is this the Joe Douglas press conference that we couldn't hear the questions? I mean, they first of all fix that situation because they'll never. Will they ever fix these press conferences? I don't care where they're at. You never hear the questions. It's ridiculous.
Yo, Ted going off. Go ahead. But, speak your mind. Speak your mind. Everyone wants to.
Rodgers, Joe, I still think they think they're going to rake us over the coals for Rodgers anyway. So I never expected him to come here and eat that contract, give up all these first rounders supposedly for Rodgers. I don't think he's got. I don't think he has much of a market.
Really?
He has to go to the AFC.
Okay.
I really don't. I mean, maybe a 1 year rental. Who's going to take a chance? Maybe the Titans. I don't know who in the AFC would want to do it.
Well, the Titans,
besides us, and I
mean, it's great that you were talking about that because the Titans came out today, and everyone's talking. They said, "Listen, y'all gonna have to deal with the fact that Ryan Tannehill is going to be our quarterback." Like, I don't know what they. I mean, they came out and literally said it. Like, I don't
know that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with y'all, but Ryan Tannehill is going to be our quarterback. And they said it. They said, y'all going to have to deal. Like, one of the guys on their staff literally said, you guys are going to have to deal with the fact that Ryan Tannehill is going to be our quarterback. I don't know what is wrong with y'all. Like, outright said it. Okay, so Ryan Tannehill clearly is going to be off the market according to the Saints, according to the Titans brass. So that, in my mind, would put the Titans out of the way for a quarterback. So I would think when you look at the QB-hungry teams in the AFC, it's us, it's the Raiders, maybe another spot as well. But, I mean, there's some spots, right? And the Raiders, I think, again, according to reports, they were waiting on Tom Brady. That whole thing, fell off a cliff because Brady's done to this point. I don't think he's going to come out of retirement again, right? So, there could be a market there for Aaron Rodgers. I'm just stunned at the fact that we're still playing this patty cake game, right? He's still not saying anything. And it's like, come on, man. Come on. We waited for the darkness retreat.
I know.
You went on your retreat. Now you came back. It started way after you said it was going to. Now you come back, and now you still haven't said nothing. Nothing to the Packers, nothing to anyone else. What's going on here? But one of the things that I was thinking as well with that situation, Ted, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you think maybe he's not talking to the Packers or saying anything because at this point he's already, in his mind, gone? He's already saying, hey, in his mind, he's already thinking, I'm already up out of here. I ain't got to speak to y'all. Do you think that could be a factor, and maybe that's why he's not talking to the Packers?
With his personality, you never know what he thinks, and he's a bit rogue with everything. But I could see him being that way, standoffish, and just saying, hey, you don't want me now? Well, I'm going to show you. Not really. It's so frustrating because there's so many smoke screens and the Geno Smiths are mentioned now and all these other players. But can I say one thing, Joe?
Go ahead.
Can I say one thing, Joe?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to say something that a lot of people aren't going to like, but if C.J. Stroud slides a little, somehow, I would think about trading up for that guy.
Wow. Okay.
I don't, John Elway, Joe, that guy in Ohio State was crazy. He watched the semifinal game. He lit it up. That guy, he's not a Justin Fields. The guy can throw. The guy is mobile. He's a heck of an athlete. I know it's a risk. So is signing Derek Carr for $40 million. Maybe we can get it. Maybe we can find a way to trade up for a C.J. Stroud if he gets out of the top 5 somehow, and with a couple, maybe a player here and there and some picks, and then maybe add a Jimmy G or whoever, and then maybe we trade Zach Wilson. I don't know, Joe. It's so tough because you don't want to overpay for these guys. Jimmy G, Mr. Glass. Tannehill's been hurt. Rodgers is a flake. You can name all the issues with all these quarterbacks. And maybe we do the John Elway route and start keep drafting them.
Maybe
it's a tough decision, Joe. This is the hardest thing.
Yeah, I mean, and I hear that, right? It's a tough situation because I think the New York Jets. Again, I know this is speculative. CJ, I don't think he's going to slide. Me personally, I think he's definitely going to get taken early. But I think when you look at that situation, that may be more into play if everything else falls apart, right? If Rodgers goes somewhere, if Carr goes somewhere, if there just isn't a greater option, I could maybe, if he slides down there, I could maybe see the Jets taking him. But that would be, again, that you would have to look at the situation with Zach Wilson. That would definitely spell the end of him being here, which the coaching staff and the front office has also said, we know through hell or high water they're going to keep him through hell or high water. But it's that would be a tough situation.
We'll see.
But go ahead.
I said we'll see.
Yeah, that'll be a tough situation. But I tell you,
we'll see, Joe, because you never know. I mean, they could say all the right things and do something different.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Joe.
No, yeah.
Especially with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, there's an option. And, Zach Wilson is in a tough situation, man, because let me tell you, the Jets are publicly coming out and talking about that they need to address the quarterback position, which is, it's crazy. But, again, they said that they're going to keep him. Joe Douglas talked about him as well, talked about his ceiling and how hard he works at the game. But one of the things that he also brought up today that I thought was very, very interesting and significant that I feel like a lot of people are not talking about. They're talking about Carr and Rodgers and all this other stuff. He talked about how there's not much money tied up in prorated contracts against the salary cap, right? And they said that they can make a lot of room for big contracts. And I thought when I heard that, I said, whoa, maybe this is opening the door to the New York Jets attacking free agency, making big splash signings outside of just, getting a quarterback, making some splash signings to continue to help the New York Jets get over the hump, make the playoffs and push in the playoffs and possibly win a Super Bowl What are your thoughts about that, man? When you hear about Joe Douglas talking about how much cap flexibility they have for the future and how they can create so much cap space, do you think that opens the door to them really making some moves in the free agency to continue bettering this football team?
I would think so. The first thing I would do is get Quinnen under wraps and get him his contract. I think they could be the cap, Joe, in this day and age, if there is such thing as a cap anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we need veterans. We have a young core. We do need some pieces, and some of the guys that maybe haven't worked out as well as we thought, who may not be back. You know, we have to replace these players with maybe really high-end type players, or whether through trade or free agency.
Yeah.
Is he talking about Jalen Ramsey or somebody like that?
I've heard. I mean, he's on the market. I don't know if
a shutdown.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we would get Jalen. I mean, we got DJ Reed, we got Sauce, we got Michael Carter. I would think that if we're going to make a splash move, it's got to be O-line. And it's got to be somebody, you know, along the offensive line, whether it be a tackle or a center or something like that, you know what I'm saying? And even, you know, so that's kind of my thought process with that. And again, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but him being able to, you know, coming out and saying that, hey, we're gathering, we can make these moves, we can make this money. He may just, you know, kind of been hinting at, hey, Aaron Rodgers, we can afford him. Everybody's saying we can't afford him. Yeah, we can. And Aaron Rodgers has also been very open, saying, hey, if I go to another team, I have no issues adjusting my contract, you know, for that football team. He said that as well. But as we're talking about the offensive line, Ted, Becton comes directly to my mind. Big questions, right? You talked about Mekhi Becton as well, being in a great space mentally and physically. Yes, Mekhi Becton, there's a big, big decision to be made on him coming up in May. That fifth-year option is looming. If you're the general manager, I'm making you Joe Douglas right now. It's now May. You have to make a decision on Mekhi Becton's fifth-year option. There's a paper in front of you. It says yes, no, and you have to sign. What word are you circling? Yes or no, and where are you and are you signing it?
Probably maybe, Joe.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't you be scared now.
I won't hedge.
Don't be scared. Come on, Ted.
Hedge,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I won't hedge it. I have an opinion, Joe.
Okay.
You know, I would strongly consider doing it, although the last show I said I wouldn't. But if he's coming in shape and which he looks like he's training hard and he's taking things a lot more seriously, I would roll the dice with him.
Okay.
I would roll the dice with him.
Okay. Why?
If he looks like he's because there's such players that have that ability are kind of rare, you know, and the issue is the injury, but the talented offensive linemen like that are pretty rare in the NFL. Yeah. So maybe you got to take a little bit of a chance on them. You know, like we discussed the last show. You know, he may go on to another team and be great there, but maybe you take a little bit of a chance on him and then show your faith in him, and then maybe if it pans out, he'll be willing to sign. His play level is high. I mean, as a rookie, he was phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he was taking these Joe Bosa's and whatever Bosa brother he had. And,
yeah.
You know, he kind of manhandled him. Yeah. You know, he was definitely, you know, coming off blocks, blocking running game, getting to the second level. I mean, you can go look at Brian Baldinger's videos of him as a rookie if you ever see him on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. He did a breakdown of Mekhi.
Highway 77.
He's very talented.
Yeah.
He's very talented. Hopefully his injuries don't, you know, keep him from maximizing his ability. Talent.
I mean, you're talking facts there, Ted. Now, my final question before I let you go, because you've been bringing some heat. Chris Darker will come to you in a second. Listen, you look at this Jets tackle position, man. Of course, we'll see what happens going forward with Mekhi Becton, but there's some guys. Dwayne Brown. There's George Fenn as well, who's a unrestricted free agent. You look at the situation with George Fenn. Would he be a guy that you would be interested in bringing back? Should the New York Jets re-sign him?
It really depends on what we can get and who we decide, and maybe Mackay's the faith we have in Mackay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if we don't sign Rodgers, and it seems like everyone is picking us to pick an offensive lineman at number 13, picking the draft. So maybe we don't. If we, again, another year of having faith in Mackay, which everyone does, but maybe this is the year when he can pull it all together, and then we draft somebody high level in 13, and then we get Vera Tucker back and go from there, and maybe add somebody else free agency, or Dwayne comes back. Mm-hmm. Who knows? He seems to play through injury last year. He wanted to win. He wanted to play.
Yeah.
So you have to give him credit. He could have just hung it up and said, "Hey, man, I've had enough. I had a good career, and I made my money, and I have my health."
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, Ted, I want to thank you for calling in today, man. It was phenomenal to speak with you. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
Hey, Joe, can I have one more second?
Yeah, go ahead.
No? Hold on. I got my kid. My kid wants to say hi to you.
Oh, salutes.
Hold on. Real quick.
Hello?
Hello, how are you doing? It's good to speak with you. I see you're listening. Salutes to you, little savage. All right, salutes.
Yeah, my dad loves your show.
Thank you. I appreciate your dad, calling in, listening to me, and I appreciate you as well, my little man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Take care, Joe. Have a good evening.
All right, you have a good one, my friend. Thank you. Listen, Ted, call in. I respect it. I respect the little savages in here, all right? That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I always tell people, curse on my show, I'll get you out of here fast. We got people listening all across the board. Salutes to everybody. Salutes to all savages. We're going to keep the show going. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Next, I'm going to my guy, Chris. Dark, other callers, we'll get to you in a second. I got to get to Chris, man. We know that Chris is going to have some takes. Salutes to you, Chris. I want to thank you for calling in. For those of you that don't know, Chris, he's a savage. Savage.
Hey, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Chris? Chris, listen, we've been talking. Joe Douglas.
Man, I'm good.
Oh, man.
Hey,
listen, a lot of discussion today about Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers still ain't talked to the Packers. Chris, I'm nervous. Chris. I'm not going to lie. I'm shaking in my boots. All right, we done came out of the darkness retreat. We still in the dark, though. He ain't said nothing to nobody. Man, are you worried, okay? Should the New York Jets just move off of Aaron Rodgers at this point and focus exclusively on Derek Carr? What say you? I'm worried.
I say absolutely yes.
Okay.
Because Aaron Rodgers, he just, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not just being weird. That you have a lot of, teams waiting on you. You have all this stuff to do, and you're just sitting there, just like not doing anything. Mm-hmm. You just feel the world is supposed to wait on your decision, and that's just a narcissistic. You got to have it to be a quarterback and everything. So, but a narcissist is just a self person, and it just, I don't know, man. It's dangerous to bring in Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, listen, Chris, I need you to fix your phone a little bit. You sound far away. I don't know if you got me on a headset or what's going on, but come a little bit closer to your phone. I need to be able to hear you a bit better. Look, yeah. I hear what you're saying. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I've said it before. I'm not shook. I'm shooketh. Okay, I'm a little worried here. I waited for you to come out of that retreat. I waited for you, to go into the retreat to begin with. It was a couple days, and I waited for you to come out, and I expected some type of answer at this point. And the fact that he still hasn't talked to the Packers general manager or the Packers as a whole and told them anything is like, what is going on? But there's a flip side of this, though, Chris, and I want to get your thoughts on this. There's some people that think that maybe he has not said anything to the Packers, not because he doesn't know what he wants to do, but that he just doesn't care about the Packers anymore, that he's ready to move on. A lot of people say that that's in his personality. Do you think that could be the reason that he hasn't said anything to the Packers, and that we shouldn't be worried about whether he's committed or not to football?
He wants to just stick it to the Packers. And I think it's a revenge thing where they drafted Jordan Love. They didn't draft a wide receiver. I think he's playing a revenge. He says, well, why should I do anything for them and everything? And everybody just has to wait on me. You see, you have people like that in this world who have a lot of stuff, and then they want the whole world to just wait on them. They feel that they're that important, that the whole world revolves around them. And they get off on that, man. You know, like AB. You know, he gets off on that. Like the whole world, Kanye West mentality. The whole world revolves around me. And that's dangerous, man. Especially in the football environment. You listen. He was on the Pat McAfee show. They asked him a whole bunch of questions. He gets tweets from Raiders fans. He gets tweets from all these fans. They know what time it is. So the responsible thing for him to do was come out of that thing. He says, "I want to be traded." Or I don't want to be traded. He knows everybody's asking about it.
Yeah.
He's a very smart guy, man.
Yeah.
That's the dangerous part of this whole thing.
Yeah. No, you're not lying. You're not lying, okay? Because let me tell you something. I'm telling you, I'm a little worried. I'm just a little worried. I'm not worried because Derek Carr is continuing to talk to other teams, and he's continuing to garner more of a market, right? Talk to the Saints. He's meeting with them again. He met with us again. He's meeting with the Carolina Panthers. He is in Indy during the Combine, and he's talking to other teams. And there's supposedly various other teams as well that he's going to be meeting with, and he's going to be discussing the future, his future in the league with them. And I'm telling you, as he continues to shop himself and gain more of a market, the more that Aaron Rodgers play around, the more the fire starts to build surrounding Derek Carr. And then who knows what can happen. Let's say Aaron Rodgers retires or goes somewhere, that market for Derek Carr is going to be vast. And if Aaron Rodgers does not end up with the New York Jets, I'm telling you, the bidding war for Derek Carr is going to start. It's going to start. And I know there have been reports about he only wants $35 million and all that stuff. Listen, I remember we threw a boatload of money at Kirk Cousins, right? And he had a market, and he just decided where he wanted to go. And the Vikings paid him very well. They paid him very well. A quarterback of Derek Carr's ilk, what he can do, the things that he's been able to show in this league, if you think that he's not going to get cashed out when we've seen various other players in this league get cashed out, you're insane, especially quarterbacks. They get paid out of the wazoo. What is it? Washington just cut Carson Wentz today. Carson Wentz is making $32 million a year, and he is trash. Everybody says that. So if you think that he's trash, and you don't think that Derek Carr could get paid, you're out of your mind, man. Give me your thoughts on that, Chris.
I think he's going to get paid. But here's the thing about Derek Carr that nobody has said on any show that I've heard, and I've thought about this. Derek Carr, David Carr, was a quarterback in the NFL, right? And David's been around for a while, talked to Hall of Fame quarterbacks and stuff. What gives you the best opportunity to get in the Hall of Fame? Is it trying to chase Drew Brees' record with the Saints, or is it winning a championship with the New York Jets? See, I think Derek Carr is the type of guy you out there in L.A. and he's kind of a gritty guy. I think he relished the chance to take the Jets to the Super Bowl. I think that it would motivate him to actually do that. I think it would put a fire in his tank to do that. I think it would motivate him to do that. And I think that all the stuff just rolling right behind Drew Brees. You're never going to be bigger than Drew Brees. You can win a maybe win one Super Bowl and stuff. But if you win one here, you are a Hall of Fame quarterback. And that's the one thing that you look at as a long term. Says at a certain point, what is my legacy going to be? If I win one Super Bowl, I'm 30-something years old, right? And what is my legacy going to be? I'm going to go back up Drew Brees, and or I'm going to go to the Jets, and I'm going to try to slay the ultimate giant. And I think Derek Carr is that type of guy that wants to slay the giant, man.
Well,
and you know him, you've seen him.
Yeah, but there's a lot of other factors as well The NFC is a factor. You got the
Yeah.
Bucks. The Bucks are a good football team. They've got a great structure in place. There's other teams that are quarterback hungry. Lot of teams that are quarterback hungry that have options, and he can end up going there. And and again, we're talking about just money, but he's also talked about how he wants to put his family, make the best decision for his family as well. You know, that cash could come into play. So we'll see, but you know, this whole situation making me a little bit nervous. Now, my final question for you, Chris, before I let you go, Mekhi Becton, man, a lot of people making discussion about him.
Boy, man.
I'm going to make you the Jets general manager right now, 5th-year option. Would you give it to him or not give it to him, and why?
Heart. The heart can't be measured, right?
Oh, God.
You can't measure a man's heart.
Here we go.
You can't measure a guy that tries hard.
Mm-hmm.
But the practical thing is that I got to see you do it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And Mekhi has had this opportunity to get himself in a situation, or you know, and be that guy to the Jets would need. So I think that, you know, I mean,
are you doing it? Don't be scared, Chris. Are you doing it?
I probably would.
I don't need no price. See, this is what Chris be doing. Hold on, let me show y'all what Chris be doing.
You gotta show me something.
Y'all,
man.
You see how Chris just tried to slide out of here with that? I'll probably get up out of here, Chris. Chris, I know not you. I know you ain't scared. Not you. Don't be scared. Listen, there's there's a paper in front of you, Chris. There's a paper in front of you. It says Mekhi Becton, 5th-year option. One is big bold letters yes, big bold letters no. What are you circling? Yes or no?
I'll probably sign.
What are you circling? Yes or no, Chris?
If we going for yes.
Okay.
Because if this is what I'm saying, why? If we going for it all, right?
Yeah.
If we give this Derek Carr $45 million a year, you know what I'm saying? We got to go for it, man. You know, that means bringing in Jesse Bates. That means bringing in, you know, re-signing our defense. That means we got to go for it, man.
Yeah.
You know, that means screwing the offensive tackle like everybody has to swing in at 13 and bring in a generational running back like Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You want to target a running back again in the draft?
Bijan is like, listen, I tell people all this all the time. When I draft, and I've learned this from every draft you draft the best player available.
Oh,
and this is why I'm saying, this is why we have CeeDee Lamb, and we don't have CeeDee Lamb, but we have Mekhi Becton, right? And that's what I'm saying. We have to draft the best player available, man. Let's not go and say, hey, what do we need? Let's fill our needs in free agency. If we have to pay Larry Tunsil, get him for left tackle, let's do that. Let's bring in Jesse Bates. Let's bring in all these guys. Let's go for it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I would say, hey, the best. And this is what I'll leave you with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's talking about a Super Bowl and stuff, but we got a guy in Kansas City that's Superman, and you got to keep him off the field if you're going to win. No matter what kind of defense you got, you got to keep him off the field, and the best way you can keep him off the field is with a good running game. So that's Superman right there.
Yeah, but the key to having a good running game, your offensive line, one of the keys is your offensive line has to be solid. And the Jets' offensive line left a lot to be desired. Yes, we're getting guys back, ATV, all those guys, but we must continue to address the offensive line.
But is Michael Carter, you got to ask yourself a question. When Breece Hall was running, he got yards. When Michael Carter was in there, he didn't do too good. And then we seen Bam Knight get some yards. So the offensive line is not that bad. And we had injuries last year. 30% of your team is going to go down every year.
Well, I was all right. Listen, Chris, I want to thank you for calling in. I got other callers I got to get to.
Hey, man,
you have yourself a good one.
Yeah.
Listen, Chris calling in with some takes. We're going to get to these callers. Salutes to Chris. I want to thank you for calling in. We're going to keep on rolling. 515-602-9639. Next, Dark, Oh, I guess Dark, call back in. We was literally about to get to Dark right now. I had to talk to him, but hopefully he gets back in. I want to talk to him about this. Next, we're going to go to my guy, Julio. Julio, other callers, hold on. We'll get to you in a second. Julio salutes. I want to thank Julio for calling in tonight. For those of you that do not know, Julio, he's a savage. Savage! Julio, listen, man.
What's up?
Bro, I am going back and forth with people. We're having discussions. I got people scared, man. And I'm going to start off with you, okay? Because I know you got some takes to give us. Hopefully Dark Soldier calls in later. But let me tell you something. Mekhi Becton, big questions about him. Joe Douglas talked about him, how, he looks physically, mentally in a great space. He's losing weight. He's lost weight, clearly. He looks like, he's in good shape. 5th-year option is coming. You must sign it in May, okay? It's going to keep him here through 2024, excuse me. It is $13.5 million, okay, on that option. There's a paper in front of you. It says Mekhi Becton, 5th-year option, yes or no, okay? You're the general manager. Yes. You're Joe Douglas. What are you circling, yes or no, to give Mekhi Becton that 5th-year option?
Yes, for a proven year. Yes. Circle it, yes.
Circle it, yes.
Year.
Okay, but why?
Prove it this year.
But why? Why? Because, again, he's going to be here through 2024, so that gives him 2023, which is this season, and then 2024 next season. But why are you giving Mekhi Becton that 5th-year option? He's been injured for the last 2 years.
He's very talented.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's very talented, and he got 2 years to prove us that he can be in that field and use his talent.
Okay. And you trust that he'll be healthy to do that?
That's how I see it.
You trust that he'll be healthy to do that?
This is the year to prove it.
Okay. All right. You see, Julio gave it to us straight. He said, yes, I'm getting it done. I'm circling that. It's said and done. All right? I respect that. Julio. I respect that. He didn't run. He wasn't scared. Now, as we continue to talk about this, right? We're talking about this offensive line. You look at this situation, man. I'm wondering, what do you see the Jets doing with Mekhi Becton? Do you think they'll stick him back at left tackle? Do you think he'll stay at right tackle? How do you think the Jets will handle him?
Switch him a couple of times. Make him feel comfortable. I don't think he's going to start, but let him come in. Let him get comfortable. Let him get back where he was in Louisville,
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you want him to see him back at left tackle? So then you see the situation there, and maybe the right tackle, they address that in free agency or the draft. Okay, I respect that take. Now, as we continue on, there's a lot of...
You got to remember, we still got Mitchell, and we still got Tucker.
Yeah.
Tucker can go either side too,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about that as well. I know people that want to put Vera Tucker at tackle. I'm not the biggest proponent. Of course, he played well there, but I'd like to see him back at guard, where he was just absolutely dominating. He played great at left tackle. He played great at right tackle. But one of the guys you brought up, and it's great that you brought him up, I was waiting for somebody to talk about him, Max Mitchell. Max Mitchell's a guy that did play well for us last year before the knee injury. Then he had blood clots, so he ended the season not playing. But he's a guy that's a very interesting piece to the puzzle as well, like you brought up, the fact that maybe he's the guy that we can go forward with the right tackle because he was impressive. Am I right, Julio?
Exactly. Yep, you're right. Yeah. And I believe Mitchell is a special guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He's a special guy.
Okay.
He's going to do his thing this year.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you look at this situation, right, Joe Douglas just came out and talked about how the New York Jets have a lot of flexibility with cap, okay? They can create very large amounts of cap room because they don't have a lot of money prorated tied up in contracts in the future. Do you think that this opens the door for the New York Jets to make big splash free agency signings in this upcoming free agency to really boost this football team?
All right. I got one big that is going to be the biggest splash of all that they probably do. And they're going to get Carr. That's about it.
Okay.
I don't think that will be the biggest splash that we're going to have.
Okay.
or unless, and like I was gonna say it like this, unless Baltimore don't even try to French tag Lamar Jackson, and that will happen. And Joe Douglas, familiar with Baltimore, he might try to go and get Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
You know?
So you're a big Carr guy because you just talked about him. My final question before I let you go, Julio, you said, hey, you think the New York Jets end up with Carr, or do you want to see the Jets end up with Carr because you're tired of Aaron Rodgers? Are you worried about him and his commitment to football, with him still not speaking with the Packers general manager? I mean, why wouldn't you want to see the Jets land Aaron Rodgers over Carr?
Because I'll put it like this. Joe Douglas will not give up so many picks for a player.
Oh, you think he's going to be
too much? He gains picks.
Okay.
He never give out picks.
Okay.
You see? So if anybody, it will be Derek Carr.
Okay.
So pay attention because of Lamar Jackson, because everybody's sleeping Lamar Jackson. Because not too long ago, and matter of fact, yesterday or this morning, they were talking about that the Jets was high on Geno Smith again, and I don't want Geno Smith back.
Look, listen, as you know as well as I know, Julio, there's some smoke screens and bogus reporting that goes on at times, all due respect. I like, look, Geno had his time here, and I think
that was Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, look, and I get it, and I think somebody somebody else reported that too. Look, I get it. There's a lot of things, smoke screens. I don't think that there's a chance that Geno Smith ends up being a New York Jet again. I just don't. He had his time here.
No,
it's wonderful what he did in Seattle. That's great. He's resurrected or, really kind of revitalized his career there. We'll see what they do with him going forward. And he's a great fit there. But here is just
I just believe we're going to get Carr.
Okay.
I just believe we're going to get Carr because Carr is a free agent, and Joe Douglas is not the type to give up multiple first-round picks. He likes to gain first-round pick,
Yeah. No, listen, and I hear you. So before I let you go, Julio, because you've given us some amazing takes. When you look at this situation, New York Jets are, they have some guys that are free agents, man, at the offensive line. Connor McGovern is one of them. Do you think the New York Jets should re-sign him, or do you want to see him, moved on from and see that the Jets, attack the center position in the draft or free agency?
Re-sign him.
Okay.
He's an important centerpiece right now.
Okay.
There's not too many centers that's going to be a free agent that we can trust right now. Get him. This is the time now. We're going to have a great offensive line. We're going to have Breece Hall come back. Everything's going to,
Okay.
Let's re-sign him. We don't want to go get another center, and then he'll be worse than what McGovern.
I'll tell you what, McGovern was bad, though. It's getting worse than him. That's even scarier. But listen, Julio, I want to thank you for calling in, man. It was a phenomenal to speak with you. You have yourself a good one, all right, my friend?
All right, you too, buddy.
All right. Listen, man, Julio said he wants to resign Connor McGovern. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. I'd like to see the New York Jets continue to move on, maybe draft a center or grab one up at free agency. Again, there's guys that can fall out all over the place. But he's not alone. I've heard some Jets fans say that they would like to bring Connor McGovern back. But we'll see what happens going forward. So, salutes to everyone. What a show. A lot of callers, a lot of great opinions being spit left and right. We'll continue to talk about this football team and what's going on, man. I'll tell you what, this Aaron Rodgers situation, I'm shooketh. Okay? Your boy's a little worried here, all right? I want to see Aaron Rodgers in a Jets jersey, and the more he keeps playing around, seems like the more likely it won't happen. But I am much, much, much open to Carr being a New York Jet as well. Don't get it confused. I like Derek Carr a lot. I'd have no issue with him being signed and brought into the New York Jets and being our starting quarterback. I think we'd have success with him. Salutes to the Savages. GVH in the chat says, if I'm a free agent quarterback, I want the least path of resistance to the Super Bowl. Yes. And Derek Carr can set himself up with the next signing to be that guy. And I think the best place for him to get that done would be the New York Jets. It would be. So GVH also says, could Carr be talking to Washington? Is the NFC East favorable, easier than the AFC East? I think so, yeah. He has a lot of options. That's the thing with Carr. He's attached to nothing. It's just him. You don't have to trade for him. You don't have to deal with another general manager trying to fleece you, trying to get more. No, it's just all about paying him and bringing him into the facility. So with that said, we're going to close out the show. Phenomenal show. Great talking to everybody. Listen, I am the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go over to Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on Twitter as well. Okay? Going over to Twitter, at The Long Beach Joe. At The Long Beach Joe. Personal Twitter is at YoungJ00. Follow me, or I'll follow you right back. And if you don't troll me, no issues. I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times because I'm the troll that lives under the bridge, okay? I'm the troll that lives under that bridge. I'll have that Vera Tucker jersey on, I can't wait till he comes back next year. He's going to be dominant. He's going to be dominant next year, man. A lot of people sleeping on him, but he's going to wake you up, believe me. All right. So I'll have that Vera Tucker jersey on. I'll troll you right back. Let's go back and forth. All right. I'm also on YouTube as well. Okay. Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. If you don't troll me, get in those comments and we can go back and forth and I'll troll you there as well. And as always, people, when you see me in person, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Okay. Free hugs for everyone. I want to thank you folks for listening. I want to thank you folks for calling in. I want to thank you folks for being involved in the show any way that you are. I truly appreciate you people. Without you, I'm absolutely nothing. I want to thank you folks for getting involved with your boy. Till the next show, you folks have a good one. Peace. 1 second, folks. Pow. All right, we're back. Listen, salutes to everybody. I know I have some new people that are here. Exclamation point links in the chat. Okay. Brings up my link tree. Is it also in the description of the video as well? We do these shows year round. I also post content on here. Please hit that link tree. It has links to all of my social media. Also has links to all of my YouTube pages as well. Content is coming for those very, very soon. Trust me. Okay. It's coming very, very soon. It's coming. All right. We're getting it done. Okay. So please get involved with all of those. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Hit that notification bell. We have a lot of fun doing these shows. Again, they're doing year round. We'll continue on. As y'all saw tonight, we have callers. Please be patient when you call and I get to everybody. I think I missed Dark. Hopefully Dark calls in for the next show. I would love to speak to him. Really enjoy that. Hopefully we'll be able to catch him for the next show. But again, if you're patient, believe me, my wait times are not long. I get to everybody, but we do have callers. So when you call in, please be patient. Also understand that I have a queue system. So when you call in, I can see you. I can literally see you. All right. And so if you keep calling in, hang up, calling in, hang up, calling in, hang up, what happens? You fall to the bottom of the queue. So because I respect everyone's time, we got to go down that queue. You know what I'm saying? Also with that, okay, when you call in, please make sure you don't have any crazy background noise. All right. Also make sure when you call in, you have a good phone. If your background is crazy, if your phone is all crazy and I can't hear you, a lot of bad reception, or you got a bunch of noise, you're on your jackhammer at the construction job talking Jets with me. Listen, I understand you got to get your money, player. I get it. Everybody got to get their money. Everybody got to do their jobs. I understand. Put the jackhammer down, go down the block, call me, where it's more clear so I can hear you. And then when you're done with the call, get back on your jackhammer. And it's because I want to be able to hear your takes. My audience needs to be able to hear you as well, okay? If I can't hear you, they can't hear you, we're not going to be able to understand you, and I'm going to have to move on. Also, there's no cursing on my show. I don't allow cursing. As y'all heard tonight, we had a young savage on the show as well, And so we have young people that listen to us, or listen to me. We have young people that, we have older people as well that listen to the show. And, I just want to be respectful of my audience. So don't call in here cursing, man. Don't do that. All right. You curse about, I will get you out of here. I'm telling you, I've hung up on people that I'm sorry. I'm going to have to move on. I cannot allow that on my platform. Not calling to my show cursing. Can't do it. All right. Cannot do it. No, sir. All right. So just call in and, be respectful. And again, you folks are super intelligent. Super intelligent. My audience is so intelligent. They understand football on a level that I'm telling you, a lot of people know. And you folks call in and you give great takes. That's why I love going back and forth. That's why I do this. Okay. But, so I know for a fact you can call in and not curse, even though I understand the Jets will take you there sometimes. My goodness, they'll take you there. They'll take you there. All right. We also do these shows after games. Sometimes we do live game reactions on this channel. We watch the games together during the season when my schedule allows. And then after the games, we have a live radio show. And man, let me tell you something. Some weeks that live radio show is hot. The show is hot. It's past season, let me tell you. There were shows where I had to remind people multiple times, hey, don't curse. Not that they did, but I could feel that they were on the cusp, okay? Because, there was some frustrating games, all right? I'm going to keep it real. But, they remained really good and respectful, and I appreciate them for that, okay? Also, we interact on the show, so all the savages in the chat, believe me, I will come to y'all. Y'all see, I talk to the chat. I go back and forth. You ask questions, I'll get to you. But keep in mind, we have callers as well, so I'm respectful for everybody's time, and I'm only one man. So I see y'all going back and forth with each other. I'm going back and forth with callers. I come back, I go back and forth with y'all, so we have a good time. Salutes to New York Jets Smoking Lounge. Love the show. Great takes. Thank you so much. Salutes to you, my friend. Good to see you in here. And so, yeah, we have a lot of fun here. So this is the part of the show that Val Outlaw loves. You want to know why I say that? Because Val is a hater. I'm not a hater, okay? I got nothing but love for y'all, right? And Val don't hate on me. He don't hate on me. He hate on y'all, okay? Val called in tonight, and he wants all the shine. He makes it very well known. He wants all the shine. So here's what happens, okay? For those of y'all that don't know, my shows generally are whatever day I choose. It's usually Tuesday, Friday. Sometimes it's different days of the week because of my schedule. If you follow me along my social media, I literally put that we're going to do a live show hours before we do it, right? Links to the show, everything. Hours before we're even live. I put, hey, we're doing a show, 7 p.m. Eastern, links to the show, everything, right? So if you look at this number right here, that's the number to the show for the foreseeable future. It's not going to change unless I want it to change, but it ain't changing. So if you call into the show at about 6:55 p.m., 6:50 to 6:55 p.m., the lines are already open for the show. They're already open. So what other people do is they'll call in and just wait on the lines, okay? See, now he's saying it's not true. Val's not telling the truth. He's admitted to hating on y'all, okay? It's the truth. So what callers do, veteran callers, not just Val, but other people that are veterans that's been, interacting with me for a while, they call the show about 6:50 and just wait on the lines for like 10 minutes. I'll come on. Generally, I'll give my spiel, or if we'll have an interview or something like that, generally it'll be about 10 minutes. I'll give my spiel, or it'll be about 10, maybe 15-minute interview. And then after that, I'll go directly to the lines, as y'all saw tonight. I could go on forever, but I don't do that because I want to go to y'all and I want to talk to y'all. So I go directly to the lines after that. After about 10 minutes of talking about whatever we're going to discuss, it goes straight to y'all. And so what people do is they call in because they want to get on earlier. As y'all saw tonight, we have, callers. We have, not to toot my own horn, but we have quite a bit of callers and people want to have a discussion. And I welcome that because this platform is all about discussion and respectful debate. So that's how people get on the show earlier, all right? It's an old trick that people learn, and I always put it out there because I want to give, newer people that are coming onto my platform a chance. A chance to get on a little bit earlier, okay? And again, my hold times are not that long. Generally, I give people 8 to 10 minutes to get their takes out. But again, we have quite a bit of callers, so that 8 to 10 minutes, we're moving and shaking and getting our thoughts out. So that's what a lot of veteran callers do. And, Val always saying that's not true. Y'all know it's true. Go back to the past shows. Y'all can see the Val is telling me not to talk about it and don't, hey, stop, Val has told me multiple times, hey, Joe, Hey, they don't need to know all that. Why? Because Val wants his shine. Okay, I respect it. I like going back and forth with Val, like hearing his takes, but I'm going to give y'all a chance. Another thing as well, and I'm respectful as it gets. When I'm saying this, I'm saying with all due respect. I do not care if you've been a Jets fan for 40 years or 40 seconds. If you call into my platform, everyone gets a chance here. I respect everyone's time. Just because you're a fan that's been a fan for 40 years doesn't mean that you're going to get on a show before somebody because they're new. That's not how it works here. That's not how it works. I respect everyone's time, and I want to hear from everybody. Okay, I've had discussions with people that was like, "Hey, Joe, you know me. I've been a fan for 30-something years. When I call in, you better beeline to me." Like, no, that's not how it works. So I just let everybody know that I'm respectful of everyone's time. Also, we have a lot of fun, and we do this. Again, it's a year-round show. And also, if I do not know you by name, I will call your area code. I've had discussions with people about this that don't know what their area code is. Please know what your area code is, okay? I'm serious. Please know what your area code is. Some people don't, all right? Some people were like, "Hey, I didn't know it was me," because I called your area code. So please know what your area code is or where you're calling in from, okay? So we do a lot of that here. Also, we game on this channel. I'll get back to that when my schedule allows. I know people are all over me saying, "Joe, get back to it. We want to see you game and have a lot of fun." Believe me, we'll get back to that. My schedule is just it's stupid. It is. So if you catch me playing NBA 2K, Street Fighter, hopefully, soon Street Fighter 6. I hope Street Fighter 6 is good. Street Fighter, NBA 2K, Madden, all kinds of stuff, Outlast, Resident Evil, whatever, right? Have a lot of fun doing that stuff too. So if you catch your boy doing that, don't be shocked. Come on in, talk to me about whatever it is. We talk about all kinds of stuff, life. Sometimes we talk about the Jets during that too. Not like a live radio show, but just have discussions in the chat and go back and forth. So we shoot the breeze and we have a lot of fun doing that as well. So please subscribe again if you haven't subscribed, like the video. Also share the stream as well with your friends and family across your social media and get involved because we do a lot of things that have a lot of fun over here. And there's more content on the way. My schedule is just wild. So we do all of that stuff and we have a lot of fun. Val Outlaw says, "I love the takes." Yeah, thank you. Salutes. Yeah, he loves all the takes from y'all too. He loves to call in and take his time as well. Okay. Val wants his shine and I respect it. But I put it out there so everybody knows. So it's not just something that, certain veteran callers know. Hey, listen, everybody is welcomed over here. Okay. Everybody. For those of y'all that are new, we have people come on and talk to us about, things that aren't even the Jets. We have Raider fans in here recently, as y'all saw tonight. Bears fans have called in. Falcons fans called in to talk about the team. We've even had Patriots fans. I allowed them to call in and give their discussion or their takes on the New York Jets. Sometimes they call in and try to bash. Don't get too crazy with that, but I'll hear you out. You know what I'm saying? And then we move on. So that's what we do here. We welcome discussion and respectful debate. That's what it's all about. So also, when you call in, don't try to scream over me either. We've had that too. I did that. Don't do that. Let's have respectful debate. Now it can get passionate. I've had discussions where we going back and forth and it's fierce. Voices are being raised. That's fine. But if you're just trying to yell over people, no, I'm not having that. Okay. Respect my platform. Respect me the same way I respect you. Even if I don't agree with your takes, you don't agree with mine. I want to hear you out and I want to have that debate. I want to have that discussion. So with all that said, again, please give the stream a thumbs up. Linktree's there in the description as well. Subscribe to all of my YouTube pages. Listen, folks, I'm going to get on out of here because my schedule is crazy. It's wild. All right, listen. Be safe, okay? There's a lot of crazy things going on in this world. Man, it's getting crazier and crazier. I don't know what to say about some of the things we're seeing on a daily basis out here. It's getting wild. It's getting straight wild. All right, look, sit down with your friends and your family, watch some good TV, eat some good food, okay? Make the moments with the people that you love the most and let them know that you love them, okay? It's extremely important. Salutes to all of the savages in the chat. GVH, he says, "Be well, Joe." Salutes to you. I want to thank you for being in here as well. Val Outlaw, as always, salutes. New York Jet Smoking Lounge, always good to see you, man. Good to see you pop up in here. Salutes. Hawkeye, salutes. Says, "Are we still talking about QBs?" Yeah, we still are. we'll see what happens. Hopefully we figure it out. Dark Soldier salutes. Hopefully we get to you the next show, my friend. Sorry you got off the line right before we were getting to you. Hope to hear from you. Matthew Smith salutes to you. Jack Kenneth salutes. Ronald Perry salutes, man. William Jones salutes. Good to see you in here. Lauren Shorty salutes. Good to see you in here, man. Everybody just coming on by saying what's up to you, boy. Larry Coleman. Christopher Phillips as well. You know what I'm saying? Again, Lauren Shorty, thank you again for the donation to the stream. Salutes to you, man. You know, Phenom as well. Salutes to you. Salutes to everybody just came on in and said what's up to your boy. Val Allah says, so crazy that I heard it was snowing in California and a snowstorm at that. Oh, yeah, it is wild. It's wild, man. It's wild. It is crazy. But it's wild. It's dumping rain. It is crazy out here. But listen, I got to get out of here, all right? Salutes to everybody. Enjoy yourselves. Again, sit down with your friends and family. Make the moments with the people that you love the most because you never know what can happen. You never know. You never know what can happen. Let the people that you love the most know that you love them, okay? I'm going to get on out of here. I'll see you folks on the next show.